Welcome back, everybody, to part 3 of the Birth of Hip Hop series with Cholly Rock, and we're going to be basically covering the early jams. We're going to be talking about some of the early battles that took place, like b-boy battles. We're going to be focusing a lot on a very kind of detailed part on early b-boying and covering the dance, the burning dance and the freak dance. Also going to be talking about Grandmaster Flash and the D Squad. And, you know, apparently Melly Mel was an absolute beast when it comes to b-boying. So it wasn't just a beast on the microphone, beast b-boy. So yeah, I can't wait to talk about with Cholly about, you know, about the D Squad. We're also going to be talking about when Grandmixer DST formed the nomadic b-boys, and Cholly was also, you know, used to travel around all parts of the Bronx with Grandmixer DST. So yeah, it's going to be absolutely mind-blowing stuff. Please subscribe to this channel and share this interview all throughout all the socials. And please also check out part 1, the history of the Black Spades. Also part 2, and also there's going to be a part 4 uploaded very shortly. Peace. Going back to the sound, like the sound systems and the part jams and the block parties, you know, was there basically were people using like the echo chamber to like MC through?
Yes, the echo chamber, it was a standard thing in the beginnings of what came to be known as hip hop. Kool Herc had the echo chamber. Grandmaster Flash, everybody had echo chambers. Okay, so let's be very clear. Everybody had echo chambers. Kool Herc, and you know, you heard that sound system with the echo chamber, and you know, we're on young ladies, don't hurt nobody. Rock to the rockers, jam with the jammers, party with the partiers, play with the players, and parties with the freak, y'all. Rock, it don't stop. Rock, it don't stop. Rock on. And this is the echo chamber with this. So, you know, same with Flash. Just check out the man they call. Just check out the man they call. Me, J. You know, so the echo chamber was a major part of the early days of what came to be known as hip hop, particularly MCing aspects of it. The echo chamber becomes less of a thing and just fades out as lyricism becomes more important, and the rhymes, you know, and the cadence and the sing-song style, the echo chamber kind of just fades out, and you know, goes the way of the dodo bird, I guess you could say. But you know, the park jams, I mean, in the summertime, everybody was outside, and that's really where the park jams took place.
Was you going to like, what, Cholly, was you going to like Rosedale Park, 100 Park, 107 Park, and 123 Park? 123.
That's home.
Yeah.
That's home. That's the Zulu area. That's, you know, by the time I became a Zulu King, which is late 75, 1976. Okay. And by that time, like I said, I lived in Gun Hill, but by that age, I never hung out in Gun Hill. I just lived there, slept there. I was always in Bronx River or down in Harlem, because I was into other things in Harlem too. That's another story. But I was always in Bronx River or the Soundview area.
And what is the reason for that? Is it because, like, you know, it was like the sound systems and the energy of the place that you just gravitized towards?
That's what it was. And that's where my friends were. And, you know, as a Zulu King, that's really where my reputation is. We really took off. I was already b-boying and known and everything, but once I became a Zulu King, that's when it like, boom, you know? And my home, that's like, Bronx River is my spiritual home. I grew up in Gun Hill. Oh, that's wonderful. Everything, you know, I have friends I love there, other people that I could care less about. But my home, where my heart is, the people I love, Bronx River. And that's with Africa Bambaataa and the Zulu Kings. Remember, there were only 11 original Zulu Kings. Okay.
And it started off with 5, didn't it? And then it went to 11. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we all hung together.
And was it the reason, Cholly? Was it the reason the Zulu Kings was like the b-boy element of the Zulu nation?
Well, the Zulu Kings are the b-boys. The Zulu Kings come first. The Bronx River organization comes first. And now, again, there are these people who always keep talking about 1973. Here's what I'm going to say. Bambaataa himself says he started the organization after the death of his best friend, Ron Bethel, who was better known as Solsky, who was the president of the 10th Division, which was in Bronx River. They were killed by the police on January 8th, 1975. I have the article. And the one person who survived was the president of my division, Wildman, still alive today. Okay? And I was at Solsky's wake, which was at East End Funeral Home, which is right across the street from Gun Hill Houses. Okay? So the organization starts in 1975. The Zulu Kings were the 5 the dance group that they formed, mainly to dance in a talent show. All right? They used to have a talent show called the Tip Talent Show, Tremont Improvement Program. And it was big. This was a big event in the Bronx back in the day. And so they were formed to dance in that show in the Monroe Talent Show. And the 5, they formed by Bambaataa, and the 5 were Ahmed, William Henderson, Ahmed, Crazy Bowleg Billy, who was also a baby Spade, Artie Jackson, who was Artie J. or Aziz, Shaka Wilbur Reed, who was Shaka or Squirpy, Vincent Stokes, who was known as Kusa, and Jonathan Lanier, who was known as Zambu, who became Bam's DJ protege, Zambu the African Prince. Those are the 5 Zulu masters and the original Zulu King. The additional 6, or really 7.
Was it Pow Wow?
Powwow, Marcus, Amin or Pee-wee, Kashaka, Alva Melendez, God bless his soul, Monk, Terry Patterson, and me. We're the additional 6. And what it was is that as a Zulu King, you became a Zulu King by dancing against one of the Zulu masters. They invited you to be a Zulu King, and you had to dance against one of them. And that's how you became a Zulu King. There was also another group called the Shaka Zulus, which were founded by Wade Lewis. Wade was someone who was from Bronx River, and he wanted to be auditioned for a Zulu King. And they told him, and this is his story, he'll tell you himself, they said, no, you're not good enough. I don't agree with that, but that's what they said. And so he asked Bambaataa for permission to form his own crew called the Shaka Zulus. And Bam gave him permission to do that, and that is how the Shaka Zulus were formed. Okay? So, you know, when people auditioned, they either became Shaka Zulus, or if you auditioned and you were good enough, like you danced against one of them and beat them or whatever, or acquitted yourself well, you became a Zulu King. And that is how I became a Zulu King. I danced against Zambu in 123.
And when you was, when you was b-boying, Cholly, was you using the lino, or was you straight up on the concrete?
Concrete.
Mm.
Concrete. Any original b-boy, that linoleum stuff comes much later. Original b-boys, we were on concrete. No cardboard, no linoleum, concrete, glass out your hands, things like that. Wearing out sneakers, 2 and 3 pairs of sneakers in the summer. Yeah, concrete. No linoleum, no cardboard, no, none.
And Cholly, you know, the term b-boy, you know, I've heard a couple of stories. One was, it was from Breakboy.
B-boy, as it pertains to dancing, comes from Kool Herc, and it's break boys. It had to do with breaking. And he would have a part in the party. All right, time for the B-boys. Make way for the B-boys. That's where it comes from.
Now, obviously, Cholly, you know, dancing was a huge part of the jams. Can you tell me about the burning dance and also the freak dance?
Burning is the precursor. It's the predecessor to the modern B-boy. It's the early style of what B-boys would become. And there were more girls involved with it at the time as well as boys. There was a lot more dissing involved with it. You had floor moves, but dropping back to the floor. The spinning wasn't in it yet, you know, and it's like a lot of dissing with it. Rock dance could be similar to burning. What they might call rock dance, we call burning. The spade dance, all of that is in the burning era. And the early B-boys, as they see themselves as B-boys, cats like Trixie, Dancing Doug, Martini, Wallace D, they were in the burning era, what we consider the burning era. And they're the early first generation predecessors to the B-boy. The early, like the beginnings of it all. And that's what it is. All right. B-boying as you know it, going to the floor and spinning, starts with Clark and the Twins. They were the first cats I saw doing it. And like I said, I was in the burning, dropping back. Me and my boy who got me into it was a cat named Ben Richards, who was my homeboy. We went to church. We were altar boys together. We lived uptown, went to junior high school together and everything. And he got me, he was a dancer. We used to dance. We used to go to church parties, St. Andrew's Church in Castle Hill. This is back in like 1974 when I started dancing. And we were doing the burning, dropping back, the splitting, doing the splits and everything, like mushing and all this other stuff with the girl and everything like that. And that's when it started. My crew, the Gun Hill crew, which consisted of my man Cedric Ingram, Seti Mo, Warren Smalls, Little Jamaica, Angelo Pizarro, called Lolo Rock, and my man Mike McIver, who didn't do the dancing part, and my man named Byron Romero, who is called B Hera. And we were all B-boys, not McIver, but me, Warren, Seti, we were all B-boys. And I got with them. Remember, I'm a smart kid, but I was always running around and this, that, and the other. And I remember my sister was telling them, she said, my brother B-boys, he does that. And they're like, he does? And they saw me and say, oh, yo, cool. So I would start hanging with them and we would go down to Herc parties. And then we heard about this dude named Flash, right? And we started going to Flash parties. 63 Park, 23 Park, the Black Door, the Dixie Club. And Flash is doing his thing. Like I said, I used to go to the Garrison. We used to go down to the Garrison. And Flash did a party there. And like I said, I'm hearing about Flash. And Flash is doing all this stuff on the turntable. Like he's really other DJs didn't really do that. They mixed, but it wasn't all, And this is another thing, like they conflate, saying, well, hip hop didn't start to Flash cutting them. That's not what started it. That's just another evolution in the process. Okay? Flash really brought the artistry to it in terms of the DJ. Starts with Herc. Flash brings the technical, the artistry aspect. Bambaataa brings the records and the Zulu Nation, us. You know what I mean? And that's like the Trinity, as they like to say. You know what I mean? So we're going to Flash parties at 63 Park, Byron, us, we're all dancing. That's how I met Fuji. Tony Fuji LaLand. That's my homeboy. That's my man.
Hey, the A1 B-boy.
Yeah, well, A1 B-boy is a term that came from Kool Herc, and he applied it to Sasa. Okay, he's the first A1 B-boy. Okay? The term became general to describe any B-boy who was really nice. We consider him an A1 B-boy. But the original A1 B-boy is Sasa. A1 B-boy Sasa. And Herc gave him that name.
Going back to Grandmaster Flash, and there was the D Squad, and the D Squad obviously I think was Melly Mel, Mr. Fuji, Kid Creole, and
Face Melvin, Avery. There's a few of them.
There's a few, yeah. But was Flash also doing a bit of b-boy as well? I
got to see Flash dance, but they say he was a dancer. Rubber band, he used to call it. He's in the rubber band, yeah. And there's another rubber band that's a Puerto Rican guy. That's a different dude. All right? You hear Willie and them talk about him. But Flash, they used to call him rubber band because he was really rubbery and wiry. So him too, yeah. Mean Gene, they were dancers too, and everything like that. But the D Squad, that's when I first heard of them. I remember I was down in Harlem on 144th Street. Because I told you I used to hang in Harlem a lot. And this girl was there in the park. And, I used to go down there and B-boy, but in like Harlem, they were still doing the burning thing. And I was doing my B-boy, they were like, yo, and they tried to, all that kind of stuff. But this girl saw me. She said, you from the Bronx, ain't you? And I said, yeah. And she said, are you a B-boy or are you with D Squad? And I'm like, what's D Squad? She said, that's Flash's crew. You never heard of Flash? And I had never heard of Flash at the time. This is like 75, right? 70, somewhere in that area. I had never heard of Flash. and said, you got to, and he wasn't Grandmaster, he was just DJ Flash. And I'm like, who's Flash? So now I'm going to the Garrison, and one night, Flash is coming there to play. Right? And me and my boy Ben Richards, we go there, and I never forget it. And I wish somebody had this ticket. I had this ticket forever and lost a lot of my memorabilia that I had. It wasn't a flyer, it was a ticket, a black ticket with gold embossed lettering. And that's the ticket they sold to this party at the Garrison. And it's DJ Flash. And I hear Flash, and I'm like, oh, he's doing all these quick cut, you know. And like, amazing. And like I said, Melly Mel and them were B-boys. They used to come to the Garrison. That's how I met them.
Was Melly Mel and that, was they like wicked B-boys?
Oh, he was nasty. Him, Fuji, beast. Mel and Fuji used to do these moves where they used to dance on their toes, like ballerina.
I've heard about that. Yeah, like on the tiptoes. Yeah.
That's fact. And that's where I got it from. You know, same with Clark Kent. Clark Kent used to do this thing where he used to do the fetal position, the baby freeze. And that's where I got that move from. So you get moves that you see, moves that you create, like when I used to rise out the coffin, all these different things. You know what I mean? But those two particular things were from other people I saw, especially when I was dancing around with the Zulu Kings and everything like that. You know?
Cholly, was you also called the nomadic B-boy as well? Because I think you used to knock around with Grandmixer DST.
Yeah, Derek Shower, DST. Me and DST are from uptown. Derek is from Edenwald Project. And I remember the first time seeing Derek, we were at a house party on Wilder Avenue. This is like 1974, 1975. And we're dancing, and he didn't want to dance. And they were trying to get him to dance. And then he goes off, and he's nice. And so we're at the party, and we're going off. Then we would see each other in all these different places. And Derek used to travel down to the Lower East Side. That's where D Street comes from. DST, they changed it to Grandmixer DXT, but it was originally DST for D Street because he hung out in the Lower East Side on Lansing Street. That's where it really comes from. And of course, I'm traveling because, like I said, with Byron and all of us, because we're going down to Herc parties and then to Flash parties, 63 Park. So we're traveling around. Then I travel more because I wind up hanging out over in the Soundview area and Bronx River, right? And I'm going down to Bronx River. That's how I became a Zulu King. And then I'm hanging out down there. So the term that DST came up with for us was nomadic B-boys, because we traveled. A lot of B-boys, they stayed in their neighborhoods. Like, there's a lot of dudes who are nice uptown, besides like Byron, Vieira, you know, and Seti, vicious. They had a little brother, God bless him, John Boy. He was nice, you know, and we traveled somewhat, but they, you know, started doing other things. And like I said, I became a Zulu King, so I'm down there with them. That's when my name really took off. You know what I mean? Breakout is another dude. Breakout was nasty. He would call him Breakout because he was b-boying with a broken leg at a party.
Wow.
Yeah. And so when he started DJing, he came up with his DJ name of Breakout. And I was at Breakout's first party in Murphy Houses. Me, Bambada, and all of us. All right? So, you know, they were b-boys uptown. They were cats that people don't even know because they stayed uptown. My man Richie T, not the Richie T that owned the T Connection, but a guy named Richard Hibbert, who was a friend of mine. A guy named Jerry Miller, who was Basic Breaker. All right, and we knew each other because, again, me, Ben Richards, and all of us went to St. Luke's Episcopal Church, all of us were altar boys, things like that. So we knew each other from day camp as kids, like 10, 11, 12 years old. So, you know, and these cats were all nice, b-boying, but they didn't travel. They stayed uptown in the neighborhood. You know, like people like me and DST, we went to all kinds of places, and anywhere there would be like a Herc party, Flash, we went all over. Mitchell Gym. Plus the fact, because I was a baby Spade and I knew Spades, I could be in those places and I wasn't going to have a problem. Because all those were Spade territories, like Flash, the Casanovas, 17th Division Spades, my man Chubby, Robbo, all of them. You know, I'm with them. My Spade father, Riley, you know, I'm traveling with them. So I don't have no problems. I'm in Bronx River. Everybody knows, you know, so I could go around. I had, like, that's where you talk about the backup and all of that. That's where all of that comes in. You know what I mean?
Cholly, you know, the energy and the atmosphere, you know, it must have made the hairs on your arms stand on end, because It must have been absolutely mind-blowing.
It was. That's really what you asked me, how I wound up being in Bronx River all the time. That's really what it was. Being a Zulu King, the first time when I went down to a party down there, it was in 123. And Bambaataa, he was either playing against Tex DJ Hollywood or Tommy the Turntable Magician. Another guy you never heard of, Tommy the Turntable Magician.
No.
Okay? Yeah, he's another DJ from that era. All right? And when in 123, my first girlfriend in Bronx High School of Science was a girl named Tracy Beeman. We went to science together, and she lived in Boulevard Towers, which is in that area. And I had friends, like I said, I was already b-boying in science and everything, and cats knew me and everything like that. And so I'm coming down to the 123 party. They're telling me, come to 123, my man Evans Carnegie. By this time I left Bronx Science, I was at Christopher Columbus High School. And Evans, who was my boy, he's Bambaataa's cousin. He called himself Bambaataa's cousin. Him and Bambaataa was quite tight. And so I'm in 120, I'm at Christopher Columbus High School. And I'm real, cool, dressed and everything like that. And Evans is talking about, he's a b-boy, he's doing his little move. And so, people used to carry little boxes, and they had just begun. Jimmy Castor Bunch. And it's on a box, and we're on the steps. And Evans does some little move. And so I start getting down. I started b-boying on the steps. And this is during the change of classes. And so people are there. And they're like, because I'm going off. I'm on the steps, spinning and doing all this stuff. And Evans is like, his mouth is open. People are like, my man John Sanchez, who's from Bronxdale, he's at Columbus. He's like, and they were all looking at me like, who the is this dude? And Evans goes like, yo, you gotta come to my cousin Bambaataa's party at 123. Johnny Sanchez, now, he says, yo, you're nice. Now, I remember even before then, I saw Johnny and them, but I didn't know them. They were at a party up in Co-op City. Disco King Mario, right? It was Labor Day weekend. And Mario was DJing this party in Co-op City. And he's playing old b-boy joints, the Mexican and everything like that. Now, remember, Uptown didn't used to do a lot of that stuff, right? It usually be us coming with our records. So this dude Mario, he's playing the Mexican b-boy joint. I'm like, yeah. A fight breaks out. And the cats from the Valley in Co-op City try to jump the cats from Bronxdale, Johnny and my man Gary and all them. And they leave. Mario gets pissed off. He packs up his shit and he leaves. So they got to get another DJ. And they get somebody from there, the Valley, whatever. And he ain't playing b-boy music. But he plays a song called My Sweet Summer Sweet by Love Unlimited Orchestra. And it has a little break to it. It wasn't a b-boy song, but it had a break to it. And I just started, I wanted to go off. I'm already started now. And so I start going off and I do the bay move. And the next thing I know, I look up and there's this whole big ring. Hundreds of people, literally, around me. And they're watching me. And they're like, yo. And they all of a sudden, I did the freeze and the bay. They're like, and the whole crowd like, oh, and I'm doing my thing. And that's really, takes off like that. So my reputation uptown is like, yo, that's this dude. Okay, so I come to the party at 123. And I see that Johnny is there and everything. And I come into the gym, because it's in the gym. And the gym has a divider. Right now, remember, I'm going to Herc parties and Flash parties. Because those were the premier names, Herc and Flash. And they're not bad, they're just them, because nobody's even thinking to battle them. That's suicide. All right? So I go to this party, and on one side is this dude playing, he's playing funky music is the thing. I never forget that's the song that was on when I came in. Dance everybody, doom, 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 doom. Dun, 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 dance everybody. So I start going off. I'm like, oh, yo, and I start going off. And this dude is in there who later I find out is Wade, Shaka Zulus. He's dancing and we start going off. And I'm doing my thing. He said, yo, you nice. I got a crew, the Shaka Zulus. Yo, I want you to be down with the Shaka Zulus. And I'm like, I'm not thinking anything of that. I'm thinking, now I knew about the Zulu Kings because their name was already, and they had a reputation as b-boy, but they also had a reputation of breaking up parties. Herc parties in particular. All right? And I knew about Bambaataa, like I said, because I knew about Bambaataa from the Spades. All right. So on one side is one DJ he's playing, right? And on the other side of the divider is Bambaataa, the other DJ. And it's like two parties in one. When the music dies down over here, you go on the other side. And, you know, they're playing all this, you know, they're playing, it's not just B-boy music. They're playing everything. Because, you know, everybody's not a B-boy. People hustle and they, you know. But when we go, you know, we go off when the B-boy music come on, Just Begun or Apache, the Mac, whatever it is. And so when one side dies down, you go to the other side of the gym. And that DJ's rocking. And, you know, it's like two parties in one. And I'm like, yo, I'd never seen that. And I'm mesmerized. Yo, this is the shit. This, you know. And so on the other side, I'm rocking. It was to the Mexican. And there's this dude, and he's going off. He's flying, and he's bang. And me and him start going off. We're just getting it in. And he's like, yo, you're nice. I said, yeah, so are you. He said, yo, I'm Squirpy. What's your name? I said, yo, they call me Charlie Rock. Because my man, Anthony Holden, little man from the Spades, he gave me that name after a dude that was a hustler, the original Charlie Rock. Charles, he's not even associated with hip hop. That's one of Kool Herc's boys, but he's not, he's a hustler. And that's where the name came from. Okay?
Wow. Yeah,
And
I
so,
never knew that, Cholly. And
yeah.
that was one of the questions I was going to ask you as well.
Well, there you go. That's the answer. And so, you know, and so Squirpy's like, yo, you should try out for the Zulu Kings. And now I'm like, because I know they are. I'm like, yeah? He said, yeah, come such and such. Come next, you know, I said, okay, cool. And so now the party's still going. Near the end of the party, they open up the divider. And now the full gym is open. And now you see how crowded it is because it's crowded on one side and on the other side. But then now it's open. Then everybody's in there. And we're going off and everybody's playing. And I'm like, yo, this is the shit. And the next week, I'm at, we used to have these meetings at a thing with our church called the Boys Club at this place, St. George. And these were all cats, St. Luke's Church. And my best friend was a guy named Roy Glenn. Okay, you can look up Roy Glenn. Roy Glenn is an author now. He writes Black urban suspense novels. He's the master of Black urban suspense. Roy Glenn, look him up on Facebook. A series of books. But that's my best friend at that time, my boy. And so we're at the Boys Club, and I said, yo, come with me to this party. They got this party in 123. And he said, what's one? He doesn't know anything about that, right? I said, come with me, you'll love it. Blah, 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 blah. So we go down there, and it's Disco King Mario playing, right? And I go in there, and they got the strobe light. Another thing that was part of this stuff was the strobe light. And DJs used to have the strobe light. And if the strobe light, you know, if you know how a strobe light works, it blinks on and off. And when you're in it and dancing, it makes you move like almost like you're disjointed.
Yeah, it's sort of kind of slow motion. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And if you're nice b-boying and in a strobe light, it looks crazy. All right. So I come there and my boy Roy's with me and they playing something, probably Mexican or whatever. And I just start going off dancing. Right? By myself. I'm just going off. I'm doing all my moves. And I look up and there's this crowd around me. Like, yo, who's that? Who's that? And I'm hearing people, yo, that's that dude that was here last week. It was, you know, and this and that and the other. And when I'm dancing and I look up and these guys are there on the thing who are Africa Bambaataa, Crazy Bowleg Billy, and Wade. And this little Stanley. Right? Green Eyed Genie.
Green Eyed Genie, yeah.
That's Stanley.
Yeah.
And he tells the story, right? And they're all there, and Bambaata's there, and I said, Evans is there. And so he's like, yo, you're nice. Where you from? I said, I'm from Gun Hill. And he said, and he tells them, he said, yo, he's from the road, which is what they used to call Gun Hill Road. And so he says, yo, I'm Bambaataa. I said, yeah, I know who you are. I'm in the 22nd. In the 22nd. I said, my cousins are Riley and Carlos. That's calling my cousins close. Riley was my gang dad. And he said, oh, you with Riley? You know Riley? I said, yeah, it's my people. And so he's like, yo, come out next week and try out for the Zulu Kings. I said, okay. So the next week, I come to 123. Mario's playing. and it's packed because people are talking about this. Because unbeknownst to me, they've all gone back. And yo, there's this dude came from uptown. He's burning everybody. They said, we got to get somebody such and such. I don't know any of this. I'm just coming to try for, and it was me and a kid named Dwayne. And he's trying for the Zulu Kings. And they said to me, we got somebody for you. You're gonna dance against Boo, the African prince. So I said, okay. So Monk, Mr. Biggs, Bam, all of them are there. They're like, who's this guy? And they were all like, because I'm like the enemy at this time. You know what I mean? Because they were all talking about, I don't know all of this. I'm just dancing. But they've been talking about me all week. Yo, we got somebody for this, And I do, Zambu does his little moves, does his thing. I come out and do my thing and I'm tearing shit up. And Dwayne is, we rock. So we get to the point is then. So they point to Dwayne and they say, bam, Dwayne. They say, okay, he's a Shaka Zulu. They point to me and they go, what about him? And Bam's exact words were, are you crazy? He's a Zulu King. That is how I became Zulu King Charlie Rock. That's exactly how it happened. Later on, Mario has a dance contest. And so people watch me dance. And now again, it's back, they got this dude. And it's me and Ahmed dancing against each other. Remember, I met Ahmed the week before. And so Ahmed does his thing. And Pepsi and all of them are there. And normally, I know how things work there. Anytime you're in somebody's neighborhood, you're not going to win. Right? I get that. But, I'm doing my thing and Mario's playing and we're dancing to Apache. Right? Ahmed does his thing. And Ahmed used to have this move where he used to go on the motorcycle. He used to do this motorcycle thing. And that's what he was famous for, his motorcycle. I start doing my freezing, doing my thing and tearing shit up. So now it's time to judge. Usually, when you're the dude who's the enemy, you're not going to win. But the crowd is going to boo. Like, boo, hell, right? They point to Ahmed and they go, yeah, and they clap. They say, they point to me, and people's like, nobody made a sound. No boo, nothing. And Pepsi and them were looking at them, y'all better not clap. Like, they're threatening them not to clap. And they're looking at them, and people just like, and I laughed, because I already know. You know what I mean? They didn't, because they, and Big Sister, Mr. Big Sister, Vanessa, who's my ace boo, that's my baby to this day, right? She's like, y'all know that's bullshit. He won. Y'all know that. And they said, she's like, that's bullshit. He won. Y'all know that. Mario says, yeah, we know you won, man. You didn't have your crowd here. And Mario says, and I smile, because I already knew. And Ahmed is there. I said, listen, man, we down together now. So we going to be tearing niggas up. And he smiles. And that's how we all got tight. From there on, I came uptown that week. And I see, remember my man, Ben Richards. That's the kid who started me dancing. And I told him, I said, yo, I'm a Zulu King now. They made me a Zulu King. And he looks at me, he's like, he gives me this look. You're with them? I said, yeah. He said, I don't like those guys. They break up Bambaata's parties. Those dudes are crazy. And him telling me that made me happy even more. Because I'm already connected with the Spades. We're all baby Spades anyway. Right? And I remember I came to the party in Bronx River the next week. We had a dance contest. And it's rigged. We're winning. And what we would do, we'd win and then split the money. Right? And I remember Monk was it. He said, you came in, I'm still the enemy, technically. I'm just coming, But I ain't getting no problems because I used to do the Spades. All my Spades had that. My man Cocktail, Jakey, God bless the dead, Cool C, Crazy Mike, all these new Spades. They know who I am uptown, plus they know Riley, so I'm good. You know what I mean? And we split the money, we laugh. And from there on, every day, and that's in the winter. Right? Because I'm still going to other parties, the Garrison, we're going to the Garrison, all these other places, Kool Herc parties still, Flash parties, Mitchell Gym, still going to all them, but I'm going to 123 now all the time. And they're having parties every weekend. I remember Mario had a big party one time this same year, and it was free because Bosco Rock, who was Mario's original partner, he was going away to jail or whatever. So Mario threw a party in 123. Everything was free. He had hot dogs, everything, food, and we're at the party going off and having a good time and everything like that. And the summer comes, right? And they used to have a thing in the summer where the Valley, every Sunday they played music. And when it first started, they used to have a DJ group up there called the Together Brothers. They used to play in the Valley every Sunday. This is like 1975, 76. As time went on, everybody's playing in the Valley, and we go to the Valley every Sunday. I almost got killed there. I had a beef because it's a gang-related thing with Edenwald, Intercrime. I had a fight, and they caught me, and all this other stuff. All right? But we're in the Valley, and Flash comes to the Valley and tears shit up. That's when me and my man Powwow, by this time, remember, I'm a Zulu King now. Me and Powwow start serving niggas in the Valley to Juju Man. You know what Juju Man is, Passport?
No.
Juju Man is a B-boy song by a group called Passport. You've heard it, you just don't.
Yeah.
And the person who really broke Passport out is Flash. That's who really broke Juju Man out. Certain records associated with certain DJs, okay? Every day, I'm in Bronx River. I'm working uptown, youth corps job with Riley and all of us. We got summer youth jobs. Right after work, on the train, hop the train, Bronx River. The music, 123 Park. Usually, 123 was in the winter because we played in the school. But in the parks, Rosedale Park. That's Mario, and all the DJs, Mario, Tex DJ Hollywood, Cool DJ D, Africa Bambaataa. And almost every day in the summer, somebody was playing somewhere. Where's the music? Yo, D's in 100 Park. Yo, Mario's in Rosedale. Bam's gonna be in Bronx River. Sometimes Kool Herc would come play in Bronx River, behind the center, because we're playing outside at that time. So that's where we're going. And we hear the music, we all together, we meet in Bronx River, let's go. Me, Ahmed. By now, everybody knows, yo, it's Charlie Rock. He's, Zulu King, and we're all together, and I'm dancing all, yo, that's Charlie, and my name is all over the place now, because I'm like, and we're all dancing together, and basically, other than sleeping and working, because I was working up at the center on 22nd, rallying everybody, I never hung out uptown anymore. 2 people I ever brought with me down the river. 3, my man, Lil Jamaica Warren. And by this time, he's seeing me dancing. He's like, yo, damn, you became a beast now. Whatnot. And the only other 2, my best friend, Chris Pleasance, who died, he committed suicide. And Ricky Rivera. Only 2 people ever brought me to Bronx River. And Ricky would come with me to parties and band parties. And Ricky will tell you to this day, he was amazed, because he's like, yo, they're paying, because they that like with Gun Hill, that's, not like that. They're like, oh shit, he's like, I can't believe it. That's how, But that's what it was. And like I said, Bam, I'm with Bam and them every day. I'm going record shopping with Bam. Because we would go record shopping, Bam buy you hot dogs, and we go to Downstairs Records, that's how we met Elroy. And Bam is picking out beats, and we go hang out. Ahmed and all of us, we go to the movies. This is like my family.
Was you going to White Castle?
Yeah. White Castle is right across from 123. So that's where we went after 123.
What did you have, like cheeseburger and a milkshake?
Hamburger, cheeseburgers, sometimes we snatch bags, shit like that. Go to White Castle.
And Charlie, when you was kind of traveling around, was you still wearing your gang colors, or did you take them off?
No, that's done.
That's all done. Right.
That kind of died out when Solsky and them got killed. And so, by now it's underground. We're not flying because the cops, the Youth Gang Task Force. So we're still Spades. And by that time, the Spades had, they had gotten older. They had faded out, and everything. And the DJs are coming in. Mario's a Spade, remember?
And it's probably more kind of crews. The crews were coming in.
That's exactly what they became crew.
Yeah.
and most of the Spade crews were the early hip hop crews. So
Because-
Mario, First Division, that's Chuck City crew.
I was going to say Mario was the Chuck City crew.
Chuck City crew.
And I think in Chuck City, was it DJ Ronnie Ron, Desi?
Ronnie Ames, and Desi. That's Mario's cousins.
And Nicky D as well.
Cool DJ Nicky D. He took the place of Bosco. Remember I told you the party with Bosco? Nicky D took Bosco's place when Bosco left. Mario's original partner was Bosco Rock.
And busy beyond the microphone.
He comes later. He comes later. I'll tell you the story about Busy Bee in a minute.
Yep, I hope you enjoyed that. Absolutely mind-blowing hip-hop history from Cholly there. You know, absolutely brilliant. So whatever you do, please share this around the socials, subscribe to this channel, and please watch part 1 about the story of the history of the Black Spades gang. Also, check out part 2 and part 4. Peace.